You're watching Fugitive Red-Eye, and welcome to another anime review, and yet again another Shin-chan review. Today we'll be reviewing the second season of Shin-chan Gaiden, or the Shin-chan spin-off as it's also known, and Season 2 is called Omocha Wars, or Toy Wars in English. A while back I reviewed the first season of Shin-chan Gaiden, which was Alien vs. Shinosuke. Omocha Wars has no connection to that whatsoever. I have a feeling that each season is going to be fairly self-contained and not really tie into the others. So far there's 4 seasons of Shin-chan Gaiden, but not all of them are in English yet. And in fact, the second season has not had an official US release, whereas the first season was available on Amazon Prime, and still is. You can watch it on Prime Video, but this one, only way you're really going to see it is with, like, bootlegs or if you speak Japanese. Despite the fact that this one doesn't really tie into the first season, still very enjoyable. There will be some spoilers in this. I'm going to try to keep it to more or less a minimum, but there probably will be some. With the first season, Alien vs. Shinosuke, I made it pretty clear that that one I don't think could be canon, because it takes place 100 years in the future, and then it goes 100 years further in the future from that. Whereas with this one, I think it could easily fit into the Shin-chan canon, if there really is one. I don't know a whole lot about how focused they are on continuity with Shin-chan. I do know there is recurring characters, themes, and callbacks, so I do think there is some sort of continuity. I just don't know how deep it goes. But this season, I think, could have easily fit into the canon, because it doesn't really have anything that contradicts anything that I can think of. In this one, a bunch of forgotten toys, led by this woman named Oban, who was a forgotten toy from a TV series called Middle-Aged Common, come to life, want to get revenge on kids because they were forgotten. So they go and they bring all the main kids of Kaskabe's toys to life and make them turn against them. And then Middle-Aged Common himself is a toy, but he's a good guy who wants to protect the kids from Oban. Also, Action Common, known as Action Bastard in the dub, definitely is still a good hero of justice. He has sort of a character arc where he wants to protect the kids, then he feels betrayed, then he wants to protect them again. So, it's a whole arc. It's very predictable with what you'd expect with Action Common, but it was a very interesting thing. I always thought that Action Bastard was an interesting character, so to get a little bit more of him this way was pretty good too. This one also has the Kaskabe Defense Force in it, so it has Shin and his friends, whereas his friends weren't really in the first season of Shin-chan Gaiden. Instead, it was just the Nohara family, a couple of their neighbors, you know, the old lady, and Michi and Yoshirin. So this time we get a little bit more of the other characters. You don't really get a whole lot of the rest of the Nohara family. They are in it a little bit, but this focuses more on the Kaskabe Defense Force, which, again, if you're unfamiliar, that's what Shin and his friends call themselves. It doesn't have Ai in it, the rich girl. I don't think she's as prominent in the original Japanese series as the US series would make it out to be, because she's in quite a few episodes in the dub, but I think that just kind of selectively chose episodes that had her in it, because the dub doesn't cover anywhere near the entire original series. After all, Shin-chan has over 1,000 episodes. As part of her evil plan, Oban makes it so that the kids will have this negative reaction to their toys being taken away by giving them these new toys and then taking them away, which curses them with this, like, irrational anger that, like, takes control of them. But luckily, Bo, known as Boo in the dub, is not affected by it because, of course, he has his trusty stone, and that's the only toy he needs. So, the plan to harvest what they call Dada energy, which is what they call it when they make the kids throw a temper tantrum, that doesn't affect him, and he's able to snap the other kids out of it in various ways. And they're each unique to that character, and they're very funny. Yeah, the humor's there, just like it is in the original series and the first season of this. Much like the first season of Shin-chan Gaiden, as well as the movies, this one tells a story arc rather than focusing on standalone one-off stuff. Not to say that there weren't story arcs in the original series, they were just a lot lesser. So this is an adventure that, you know, goes on through the episodes and tells one narrative. But it's very fun. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Much like the first season, the episodes of this are only 7 minutes apiece, so it's really short. You can get through it pretty quickly. There's only 13 episodes. Like I said, actually getting this in English, it's either Malaysian bootlegs, online stuff, or watching the original Japanese version if you actually want to watch it. But hopefully they add it to Amazon Prime like they did with the original like they did with the first season. I hope that we get more Shin-chan stuff re-released in the US later on. Like I said, I'd love it if Discotech or someone would license it. And though I hate Funimation now, I love their old dub of the original series, which is what, you know, got me into Shin-chan in the first place. So I'd love it if they could license that with Discotech. I did a whole Dream Discs video about why I think Discotech should license it. Yeah, Shin-chan Gaiden's fun. I'm hoping that I can somehow come across the third season with subtitles as well in the future, and if I do, I will of course be reviewing it. That about covers it. It's fairly short and sweet. Not a whole lot of depth to it. It's just, toys trying to take over the world in this plan they call the Toy Story Initiative or something like that. It's a fun adventure if you like Shin-Chan. And if you like Action Kamen, also known as Action Bastard, then you'll enjoy it. Anyway, this has been Fugitive Red Eye. I hope you've enjoyed this review. Have a good one. Toodles.